This is IGN Live at Comic-Con, brought to you by the all-new LG G4. This is Comic-Con. You're looking at it right now. Here we are in the studio. I'm here with Joshua Yale, Tim Kring, Jack Coleman, and Judith Shekoni. And you guys are the Heroes Reborn. Well, you're the guy who is making the heroes get reborn, and you guys are Heroes Reborn.
Exactly.
What's going on with Heroes? Is it getting reborn?
It's getting reborn.
That was weird. They don't just start me on a picture of a train.
Take it at its word.
We're birthing it right now. You're watching the birth of it right now at Comic-Con. It's amazing. This is really where
where
it all began.
Where it all began.
Heroes was awesome. People, got stoked about Heroes, but like it kind of came a little bit before the thing that just blew up, and suddenly superheroes were everywhere, and now you're kind of coming back to, reclaim the throne, yeah?
Well, listen, the show, when it started, you're right, genre was sort of thought of as a little bit on the fringe, and there were several of us that, talking behind the scenes about writers and, friends of mine, thinking, well, I think the mainstream is actually, the genre audience has actually become the mainstream audience. It's just that, like, television hasn't quite figured that out. And so this show, Heroes, bridged a little bit of that, because while it was about people with powers, it was really about the people, and it was really about the family dynamic. I think Jack's character with Hayden Panettiere, as his daughter, was really like the heart and soul of that show.
And the Petrellis, those two
Petrelli
families.
Family. It was really a saga about two families, exactly. And so, while it had superpowers, the thing that really I think elevated it was just how much it was about the characters and how they dealt with these powers.
Yeah, Jack, what's it like for you to come back and take on this role again? It's great to see you back, but Claire's not there, not a part of your story that we know of.
She is her presence looms large.
Very large, yeah.
I mean, it's great for me. The first time I put the glasses back on in 5 years was to do the ad for the Super Bowl, and it felt like Halloween dress up or something. I felt a little bit like an imposter. And the first couple days of filming were a little bit like that, and then you get back into it. What's really interesting is working with some of the actors who have come back and worked with Mossy and with Greg Grunberg and Sendel and Chris Rose, and watching them all. Watch the gears grind on that first day for a minute. It takes a second. It's like, oh, I know this character. I've been doing, but you haven't done it for 5 years, and you get to sort of get back into it. And all of us have a little bit of a transition, but it's fun to watch and incredible to see them all back.
No, it's worth pointing out. Like it's been 5 years. 5 years is a long time in terms of some television audience's age range, and you're going to have people who maybe when Heroes was on they were too young for it, and now it's like exactly the thing they want to see. How accessible is this going to be to people who weren't into the original series?
Well, we thought a lot about that exact sort of dilemma, and the truth is, first of all, the original series is there for everybody to find, and now more easily than ever. NBC has put out an app that comes, the Heroes Reborn app, that you can go back and watch all these episodes. So it's amazing how easy it is to access that. That being said, we really designed the show so that you didn't have to have watched the show before. You could step on the train, in the station at the very beginning and watch it. If you have seen the show and you do know the mythology, I think you are going to have a kind of more, a deeper experience, because there's all these clues and Easter eggs, and it's almost like speaking a special language. So for the audience we really want to honor that audience that watched the show and passionately watched the show before. But if you haven't, you'll enjoy the show just fine.
Cool. And Judith, you have old guard, new guard here, new character, exactly. New to the show. And from what it looks like, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but it looks like your character is one of the villains alongside Zachary Levi. So what can you tell us about your character? Are you one of the villains of the show?
I wouldn't call me a villain.
Okay.
I think it's more subtle.
Yeah, I think she's a very complex character, which I think a lot of people are in Heroes, and I think that's one of the things that made it great, is that people were bad, now they're good, now they're bad, now they're good. They're not necessarily black and white, and I think that's fair with my character. I think she has a really exciting journey, and I think she's quite badass and a strong.
She is badass.
A strong woman as well, which I think is really great about the show, and something that was there earlier is that you get to see women in strong roles, holding their own, going for what they want, rather than just being like the crying victim in the corner. So it's a good journey.
That's good stuff. I was going to say, time has passed. What would you say is different in terms of just kind of the pop culture or just real life landscape that, I mean, are there different concerns you maybe want to address in the show? I mean, you're talking about, strong female characters. That's big right now. People really care about that, and that's really important.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that's just different?
Well, listen, the show takes place exactly 5 years after the last one ended. So it takes place right now. And the world, I think, really, it needed saving when we started the show 9 years ago, and it still needs saving. But I think everyone feels now that the world is vibrating in a kind of scary way, with all the things that are going on the planet. And so the show reflects that a little bit. In some ways, it's cranked up. It's a little bit more dangerous. It's a little bit more paranoia and persecution. The characters that have powers in the first series, it was kind of a mystical experience. What's happening to me and how am I connected to these other people? Now, in the show now, in Heroes Reborn, if you have a power, you know what it is, you know that it's bad, you know that you're going to be persecuted. So the world is a little bit more dangerous, and we are dealing with some of the ideas of what's happening to the planet and how whether we can save the planet. Those are current issues that we're dealing with.
So more dangerous, does that mean it's larger scale too? I mean, the thing is you're coming back. It's kind of proven that superheroes are totally viable right now.
Right.
Are you giving more leeway? Is it kind of like bigger budget, would you say, or I don't want to look at your wallet or anything.
Listen, about sort of bigger budget or more. The truth is, we found that we can do things now on the show that we couldn't do 5 years ago. I mean, Jack was just shooting stuff literally yesterday that I don't think we could have done that, sort of 5 years ago.
Certainly not as easily.
Yeah.
It would be a real production to do some of the stuff we did yesterday.
Just some of the stuff we've done with drones and special effects that we used to take 3 weeks to do. Now a guy on a laptop sits on the set and he can actually create almost what so it's amazing how there is new technology.
And Tim and everybody's they've put a lot of thought into the look of the show and what's different, and that it reflects a different reality. It reflects a different, aesthetic sense, and it will look a little bit different than it did before. A little bit more cinematic, right?
Yeah.
A little.
Definitely.
I mean, listen, when the show came out, we looked and felt like nothing else quite like on network television, and so I knew that I wanted to have that same feeling for audience to have that same feeling when they watch this, that it doesn't look anything quite like something on TV.
When can people see it?
September 24th.
There you go. Well, that sounds awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming by.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really exciting. We have tons more Comic-Con stuff coming up, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
IGN Live at Comic-Con is presented by Marvel's Ant-Man, in theaters July 17th, and the all-new LG G4. See the great, feel the great.